Hello and welcome to Three Questions with my friend Melissa Braga with us from New Being Wellness. Good afternoon, Melissa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So today I have a weird question for you. Been seeing stuff online about parasites. What can you tell me about them and why should I be concerned?
So with parasites, the thing is that it's an not alarming, 60 to 70% of people actually have some form of parasite. A doctor that I follow and like a lot, he mentions that if you have a pulse, you have parasites. Most conventional doctors, they don't really, they're not trained in the treatment of parasites, so they don't really look at parasites as a possible source of symptoms.
Yeah.
So with what I do with nutrition response testing, we can actually look for those parasites. It is a big hype right now. I know that there's a lot of people talking about it. Full moon is a big thing as well, and we can go into that. But it has a lot to do with it's not just gut health, right? So it doesn't just impact your digestion. There's a lot of other things that can happen with parasites. So a lot of times, if you're having, with kids at night that have like the tummy aches, that could be an indicator of parasitic movement because they are more active at night and during the full moon. Also, it kind of messes with your nervous system. So skin conditions like acne, rashes, things like that could possibly be a form of parasitic overload. The problem is that when it becomes an issue, which is basically becomes an overload. So it's too many because we have them, but if there's too much, that's the issue.
How do I know if I have them? I mean, it seems like
so a lot of the signs would be, yeah, so we can get them from air, water, food. And then what happens is that when we have a toxic load in our body, so we live in a toxic world, we're never going to get rid of all the toxins. It's in our air and our foods, everything like that. Toxins can actually live in the parasites. So they actually have a place. It's like food for the parasites. So what happens is treating those parasites can be a big thing. So a lot of times you'll have constipation, pains or aches in your backs, joints, muscles, nervousness, grumpiness. So like mood changes, mood swings, tooth grinding, like teeth grinding or clenching is a very big indicator. Vitamin deficiency, so really like iron, so people who are anemic or have low iron, B6 deficiency, zinc deficiency could be an indicator of a possible parasite infection. Again, the stomach aches, especially at night, fatigue, nervousness, itchy anus at night, especially, and then allergies, food sensitivities, that could be all indications of parasites.
So you mentioned full moon a couple times. How does that play into this?
So the full moon plays a huge role because when the parasites reproduction part is highly active. So what happens is the brightness of the full moon, it actually creates a drop in melatonin production, and that down regulates the immune system. So kind of like the ocean, how we have the high and low tides, and with the moon, it kind of goes up and down. Same thing with our body. Our circadian rhythm is also affected by the full moon. So we actually produce more serotonin and less melatonin. And then the melatonin is what helps us sleep at night, and it controls our immune system. So with the lower levels of the melatonin, your immune system doesn't fend off the parasites as well. So, and they love serotonin because it stimulates the muscles and allows them to move more around in your body. It actually helps them reproduce and also get stronger with their ability to feed. So they're more active. And so that combination of less melatonin, higher serotonin, it's the perfect combo for them to kind of awaken and cause more issues. So a lot of people will feel worse around the full moon. And so we're actually in a full moon right now. I think it was on the 7th. So a lot of times people will have more migraines, more aches, more pains, things like that.
How do I get rid of them, I guess, is the big question.
What was that?
How do I get rid of these parasites? How do I remove them?
Okay. So to get rid of them, So again, it has to do with toxic load. So if we have a lot of toxicity in our body, that's pretty much giving a lot of space for them to thrive. But the first and most important thing is to make sure that your we call it the drainage pathways are open and readily available. The way I describe it is kind of like your plumbing in your system. So your body's plumbing natural ways of going. So bowel movements are very important. So if you're constipated, we don't want to start getting rid of these things until we're actually moving our bowels. So your colon is very important. If that's going, so typically it's about, we want to have at least 1 to 2 bowel movements a day. It is not normal to have one every other day, every 2 days, nothing like that. And the consistency, I talk about poop a lot in my office. The consistency is also important. So what it looks like, that can tell a lot. So we want the colon to be moving, right? And then after that would be your liver and your bile ducts. So if anything is sluggish, so it's kind of like plumbing in your house. If the plumbing is sluggish or it has a lot of things going on, the water isn't going to drain down as quickly. You're going to have backup, and it kind of goes and it backs up into the sink and then overflows into your house or home. So it's kind of the same thing in your body. So what happens is if your colon is backed up, or if your liver and bile ducts are backed up, it's going to go back into your bloodstream, going through into your tissues, your organs, through your kidneys, and then also your lymphatic system. And then, with the bloodstream, it goes into your brain, which can cause some of those headaches, things like that. And then skin, we need to make sure we're sweating. So yes, sweating isn't always, not everybody loves to sweat, but it's actually a really good thing. It's the way that our body can excrete some of these toxicities and some of these things. So we want to make sure that that is really open and working correctly before we focus on any type of parasite cleansing or removing anything or detoxing any types of chemicals, toxicity is out of the body. Because if they're not open, if those things aren't open, if your plumbing isn't fully intact and working properly, those things can actually cause more harm. So you're actually going to feel worse, and it's literally backing up into your system.
Wow. So Melissa, how do people reach out to you? How can they learn more about this?
So my website is up and running. So that can be www.newbeingwellness.com. You can also reach out by phone. So my phone number is 978-954-7310. I actually just moved to Tewksbury, so my location is now in Tewksbury. But I can also do virtual visits as well, so telehealth, to kind of go over what's going on and finding the root cause versus just symptom serving, like symptom catching, if that makes sense.
All right, Melissa, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call to the show, and as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you.